perspective. The program is nothing to hide. It digs deep into the minds of the guest and brings out the facts. Nothing to hide. It will addresses no issue. It sees no sacred cow. It believes that a government or nation of the people must not work in secrecy. It's on Sky 107.1, Monday to Friday, 3 to 4 o'clock p.m. If we love Liberia, we will be sincere in our dealings with one another. Truth-telling is the bedrock of good journalism. Straight from the heart on Sky 107.1 is that platform you can rely on for credible, undiluted analysis. It is thought-provoking. It speaks the truth to whoever is involved. Our presenters remain and are only interested in truth-telling. The program comes your way Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 o'clock in the morning. Let's speak from our hearts, heal our wounds, and build Mama Liberia for good. Truth-telling is the bedrock of good journalism. Straight from the heart on Sky 107.1 is that platform you can rely on for credible, undiluted, and unbiased analysis. It is thought-provoking. It speaks nothing but the truth to whoever is involved. Our presenters remain impartial and are only interested in truth-telling. The program comes your way Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 o'clock in the morning. Let's speak from our hearts, heal our wounds, and build Mama Liberia for good.
Mama Liberia, wake up. Mama Liberia, wake up. Mama Liberia. Liberia, oh Liberia, oh Liberia, wake up. Liberia, oh Liberia, oh Liberia, wake up. Liberia, oh Liberia, oh Liberia, wake up. In a pray. Oh, Liberia, wake up, oh, wake up and do something. Oh, Liberia, try to settle things the way we used to be. It's all we need in our love and control. Mama, L.I.B.
Wake up, my people. Can't you hear the song? Can't you see the shining sun? We've been sleeping so long. No time for guns. No time to do wrong. Say the war is gone. My people be strong.
Wake up, oh, wake up and do something. Try to settle things the way we used to be. It's all we need in our love and control. Mama, L.I.B.
Wokama, wena moto mwaka. Wokama, muna moto mwaka. Unkano, unyamano. Wokama,
Good morning, and a pleasant welcome to another interesting edition of the program. Straight from the heart on Sky 107.1. Today is the 14th day of July 2021. My name is Matthias Labindi. This morning, we're going to be having a conversation with two young people from overseas. They are Liberians as well, by the way, but we're going to be speaking to them from overseas, and they're going to be sharing with us their thoughts on the potential that every Liberian holds, the potential of every Liberian, both home and abroad, in the development of Liberia. while we talk about corruption, government officials, corruption, and other things, what potential do we hold individually in building this country, Liberia? What contribution can you make as a person? What contribution can you make to Liberia, whether you are in the country or out of the country? How can you contribute to rebuilding this good country, Liberia? So at 8 o'clock, we're going to be speaking with two young people, like I said. Our guest, one is from the US, he's from Minnesota, and our guest from Minnesota is Mr. Chancy Wlah Gibson Makalor. Chancy Wlah Gibson Makalor is considered as Mr. Minnesota. He's maintained his heavyweight championship since 2019 till present. So from 2019 till now, there's been a series of competitions for the championship of Minnesota heavyweight championship. No one has won. I'm told the Minnesota has about 50 constituencies. This Liberian brother has been maintaining his championship from that time till now. He's still Mr. Minnesota. What can we do with him in ensuring that other young people who are sitting idly and doing nothing can tap into what he has accomplished and be the best he can be in life? Then another guest is Mr. Saah Josiah. Saah Josiah currently lives in Western Australia. Saah Josiah currently is studying logistics and management. Simon believes that there are a lot of things, there are a lot of opportunities in Australia for even the government of Liberia to not even, you don't even have to reach out to the government of Australia. You can tap into the potential, into the ability, into the presence of your Liberian brothers and sisters, of your Liberian citizens in Australia to ensure that a lot of things come back to the country. He's going to be telling us more. Would you mind, would you even want to make such a conversation? I don't think so. We'll be right back after this break.
Mama Liberia, wake up. Mama Liberia, wake up. Mama Liberia, wake up. Mama Liberia. Liberia, oh Liberia, wake up. Liberia, oh Liberia, wake up. Liberia, oh Liberia, wake up. In a break.
Wake up, oh, wake up and do something. Try to settle things the way we need to be. It's all we need in our love and control. Mama, I love you.
Wake up, my people. Can't you hear the song? Can't you see the shining sun? You've been sleeping so long. No time for guns. No time to do wrong. Say the war is gone. My people be strong.
Wake up, oh, wake up and do something. Try to settle things the way we need to be. It's all we need in our love and control. Mama, I love you.
Wokama, wena moto mwaka. Wokama, muna moto mwaka. Ufanu, unyamano. Wokama, salune, labire, abore, gimie. Wokama.
That's right. You can be a Sierra Leonean, you can be an Ivorian, you can be a Liberian, you can be wherever you're from. We are all one people in Africa. We are all one people in this world. It's the same God that created us, and we are here to ensure that we make our contribution to the nation building process of our own country and of this great war that God has put us into. How are you? How are you doing, my wonderful, wonderful listeners? My sincere apologies to all of you. You know that yesterday we could not bring you the show due to some, reasons beyond our control. So we're here again this morning with a lot of fascinating topics. We just want to share with you. We don't want to waste most of your time to talk. I know maybe you may want to latch at me, for not being on yesterday, but it's completely, like I said, beyond my control, beyond the management's control, by the way. So we apologize for that. And at the same time, like I said, for so long, we've had conversation with, a number of us, Liberians here, politicians back home here, talking about issues affecting us in the country and so on. But every time we have these conversations, do we ask ourselves, these national conversations we are having, even though diaspora Liberians participate via the line, but is it possible for us to, find a way in involving them into the development process of this country in a way that it will be a special thing? Can we listen to the conversation this morning at from 8 to 9 o'clock, at which time we're going to be having a conversation with the young people, with two young guys who are currently out of the country, and talking about Mr. Chancy Wlah Makalor. He joins us this morning from Minnesota, the USA, and Mr. Samuel Saah Josiah joins us from Australia, Western Australia, by the way. The two are concerned about how come they are there in the US, how come they are there in other parts of the world, and they have lots of opportunities, but the government doesn't seem to be tapping into the opportunities. Some individuals they leave this country, they go out there, they get some support, and they come back. But when they come, do they give credit to the people who make it possible to give them these supports? Maybe you may be getting some revelation this morning regarding the fact that the government can tap into the potential of diaspora Liberians in ensuring that they get a lot of support and make them feel a part of the development process of Liberia. Now, let me remind you now. You may say, well, but the guys, they send money back home to their family members to build houses and things. Granted. But do you know how many of our brothers and sisters abroad, do you know how many of them have gotten frustrated by the fact that they trust their brothers and sisters, their family members, their relatives, even friends back home, or in the name of sending money back home to say, man, let's open an institution, let's build a school, let's do this, let's do that, and so on. If we do this, if we do that, we're going to certainly make these kind of achievements in the coming years or months or so. They get frustrated. Many of them get frustrated daily. So now some of the arguments are, most of the time when I reach out to some of the diaspora Liberians, some of the arguments I get, some of the things I hear from them, it's like, well, Matthias, can we have a way that we can contribute to the growth and development of our country, Liberia, without us just sending money to our people? Those are for our personal projects. But we also want to feel part of the building process. We want to feel part of, the upliftment of this country, Liberia. If I get frustrated that, yes, I send money to my relative and the person didn't do anything with it, but if I know that there is this particular account where every diaspora Liberian will contribute at least $1 a month. Let's say maybe we have about 6,000 diaspora Liberians, or maybe 1 million plus in other parts all over the world. Let's tap into whatever they can contribute to Liberia. The issue of the health system we have today, where we have no beds in the hospitals, if we have that particular account that these people can contribute back home, don't you think that will solve a lot of problems even before the problems getting hold of us? Anyway, we have a lot of things on the plate. First of all, let's begin with the issue of Jefferson Koji. Yeah. Number of things. First, I want to go back to Rivers County before I get to Jefferson Koji. Well, yesterday we could not, participate. We could not, bring the show on due to some reasons beyond our control. And you too, I know you felt bad. Of course, it makes everybody feel bad when you get used to something, and at some point, maybe you don't have access to it. It makes you feel really sad. We are sorry for that. But I was reading the story about this classroom teacher in Rivers County that made a female student to urinate before classroom. According to some interactions I've had with some of my friends in Rivers, they said that, well, this teacher, though the dealers reported it that way too as well, teacher in question, this student being complaining where I want to go use the bathroom, that she wanted to go and use the bathroom and so on. Unfortunately, the instructor refused to listen to this matter. But in that process, when the issue of when this student insisted that she really wanted to use the bathroom, what happened? The instructor said, well, you can do it here. In a male-dominated class, this student, according to the information, sat down and faced the lecturer or the instructor and urinated before him. Now I'm hearing that he's expressing remorse, regrets, and so. Liberia is indeed suffering from serious moral bankruptcy. Such a man should still be in the classroom. Yeah, we know that we're suffering from, some serious brain drain of teachers in the classroom. But such a man who humiliated a female in the presence of other, male students is still in the classroom, and he's saying that he's expressing remorse. He sat there and watched this young lady for at least 1 minute or two, or maybe 30 seconds or 45 or a minute. Sat down before him. He sat comfortably looking at her in the face. She urinated before him. And he came back and said, well, I'm sorry, and this and that. Really? Nah, anyway, sorry is the new order of the day in Liberia, that people can steal and come back and apologize. People can lie and apologize. So yeah, you know, such a man does not belong in the classroom. First of all, he does not have emotional control. The student is taking test, and the young lady said, well, I want to go use the bathroom. He said, no, don't go. He said, sit down. Is it appropriate, you as an instructor, for you? So do you urinate in the classroom, you lecturer, you the instructor? Or were you thinking that she's going to the bathroom, when she comes back, she'll come up with some other things to come and spy and cheat on your test? Or don't you have other mechanisms in ensuring that this young lady or whoever sit down for your test can get, you know, can do it sincerely and honestly in ensuring that they sit for your test properly? But you said, sit down in the class. Sit before me. In fact, face me. Urinate. So that maybe it was, maybe one can say it was a psychological sexual harassment, that she sat before you and face you. She sat down, urinated, but you sat comfortably looking at her. I'm not trying to be graphic, yeah, but he sat comfortably watching her urinate before him, then later expressed remorse. Anyway, this is Liberia. It's a serious nation, right? Let's move on. I heard that Mr. Jefferson Koji, my God, this country is serious. Mr. Jefferson Koji is asking for contribution from media practitioners so that they too can help in the fight against the coronavirus pandemic in the country. You know how that sounds? To me, Jefferson Koji's assertion is like a man who lives in a community. He's a middle income earner. The rest of the other people do not have much. They didn't have much. They didn't have enough to even start their day, to even take care of their family members. But there is a program pending in a community, and the community elders are saying everyone should contribute at most 50,000 Liberian dollars. Julius has started again. He's eating bread and tea before me. No problem. I'm running my show, Julius. So everybody should contribute 50,000 Liberian dollars. I know that I can even earn 50,000 a year. But this guy is saying, yes, 50,000 will be okay because he can afford it. He can afford it. In an event where some of us cannot afford to pay the $50,000, we become less important men in the community. Jefferson Koji, man, seriously? Today you're asking the media to make a contribution to the fight against coronavirus? What contribution are you asking for? Financial contribution, I'm told you said you're asking for. Really? Isn't that insanity at the highest core in this country to ask the journalist? What money do we earn? Jefferson Koji, all right. The contribution should start from Kings FM, owned by President George Weah. If any of these guys at Kings FM can contribute just a 2,000 Liberian dollars towards the fight against coronavirus, I will contribute 10,000 Liberian dollars. In the first place, there's a BSc holder who resigned from Kings FM who was earning 1,500 Liberian dollars as a journalist. Really? You ask us to contribute financially? Do you pay us when we come in the morning to sit down and analyze issues affecting this country? Do you come to us to show some appreciation? Do you do that? Does the government do it? Do we get subsidies? If we get subsidies to, from government to our media executives, to our media institutions, well, maybe our media executives are crooking us. They're just eating our eyes, as people will say. We're just working and they don't want earning. But that is not the point. The point is, a young man who stay in this country, who used to walk to news editors, plead with them for his voice to get on the news, who knows the circumstances, the challenges faced by journalists, to ask that journalists make financial contribution towards the fight against the coronavirus. That is not just the highest goal for me of insanity. It's just people sitting down and trying to do worse. The less basic, they have a lot of job to do, per appointment, but they do not want to do the jobs. They want to be considered as intellectuals, which they're not. They're not. You ask journalists to contribute. Like I said, Kings FM, maybe that kills the whole argument. Go to Kings FM first and start the collection from Kings FM. If any journalist at Kings FM paid 2,000 Liberian dollars towards the fight, to the government of Liberia, towards the fight against coronavirus, I'll pay 10,000. Currently, I'm a freelance journalist. Let me say that now. Maybe many of you don't know. I'm a freelance journalist. You know, maybe I may get it on in the improv of Sky, but I'm freelancing now. Yeah. So as a freelancer, I'm saying to you, Mayor Jefferson Koji, if you collect just 2,000 Liberian dollars from a journalist from Sky, not Sky, but Kings FM, I'll pay $10,000. What you should be saying as a young man who is benefiting from the ubiquity of knowledge in this 21st century, to use that microphone you use at that moment to ask, to appreciate, by the way, journalists, media institutions in this country, helping the Ministry of Health to talk about coronavirus, create awareness towards the fight against coronavirus. Oh, is it because we say to you that you are the biggest janitor in this country, but the city is dirty, and now of late, because of the 26 that's approaching, you're cleaning the city? That's the reason why you're coming at us now to see journalists, you make financial contribution. You'll be a blind man to think that, you know, that we'll get moved by that. And that, for me, it's not just a provocation, but it's an act of, it's a demonstration of his sanity from the man who uttered the statement. You know the media. There's nothing. Eugene Fagon, who occupy a media office at the Ministry of Information, could not get support through your government. That's a media arm of the government, the Ministry of Information. He could not get serious budgetary support in his office to ensure that he executes his responsibilities effectively. Journalists in this country, why the Kings FM folks protest in 2018, between 2018 and 2019? Some of the guys there, they're saying, well, we're making $1,500 Liberian dollars. Now, some of you will say, well, these guys are on serious people in the media profession. But if we are not here, how are you going to be heard? So we agree. We sacrifice. We take the $1,500 Liberian dollar home to our families. We take the 200, maybe $150 US if you're lucky. Thanks to Mr. Staunton Waterspoon, who has brought a tremendous change in the Liberian media. That Liberian journalists, young Liberian journalists in the 21st century are having their living wages. They are earning living wages. But you, Jefferson, man, you just started running with press releases around here. Okay, I understand. I understand where the point this statement is coming from. Because you pushed the youth wing of the CDC to attack two officials of the government, which you know that as a party you cannot defend that statement. It's an embarrassment on the part of the youth wing of the party. So now you want to find a way to attack the media. That journalists should make financial contribution. I pause on this note. The Kings FM journalists, the folks at Kings FM, should first contribute 2,000 each. 2,000 each. I personally, as a freelance journalist, will contribute $10,000. Any way I can find it, I will get it. But please, if you have nothing to say, focus on the cleanup exercise that you were implored to do in this country. And don't just say things. It's a provocation to the media. You have not even talked about the fact that there were journalists in this town protesting because public officials, security officers in this country abuse us. They beat on us. The president, George Weah, asked Dr. Larry Bropler to investigate that. Today, Dr. Bropler said that investigative report has been submitted to the president's office. I reached out to the Ministry of Information. The Ministry of Information said the president has not communicated to that body regarding any communication. During the time Eugene Fagon was stated, Eugene Fagon said, yes, we know that the committee has concluded its investigation. That report has been submitted to the president's office. It has now reached us as a ministry to communicate that to the public. So as a mayor and a young man, who most of the time you guys talk about generational envy, you should be the one saying to the young people, to the government, the media is our partner, or practitioners are our partners. Practitioners are our partners. Is there a way that we can do it differently? Let's find a, and then let's get the total result from this particular investigative report launched by our government, given to Lauren Bropler to head it. Jefferson Koji, that's the thing you should be talking about. But asking us to contribute money, go to Luke's FM on the University of Liberia campus. How much do they earn? Come to Sky. How much do employees here earn? One of the things that maybe has landed me in some trouble with some of my bosses that never led to my dismiss, I've never gotten dismissed, right? But most of the time they look at me disdainfully is because I'd look at them in the face and tell them that this is not how media, we cannot consider ourselves as noble people and we operate in this way. A noble man is a man who respects his friend, who respects his fellow noble man. If we all in the media consider ourselves as noble people, even if I am an intern who came in a noble environment, I should be treated with nobility. But Jefferson Koji, that was a mismatch. Anyway, I understand. That's Liberia. This is Liberia. Welcome. But let's move on to Senator Darius DeLong. I don't know how to start this. Should I ask you to tell me whether this guy is Mr. Liar Man or he's somebody that can be trusted? By the way, let me do my own analysis and then open the lines to hear from you. I owe you, and I need you to talk more. So, in less than, should I say, 4 years? Yeah, less than 3 years. Less than 3 years. Mr. Dillon has apologized over 6 times as a senator, but he has not resigned. See, it's an expression of remorse. Anyone's apology from a man who is a leader, who projects himself as someone that can be trusted. I don't know how is that described or how that should be described. Whether it should be described as, a demonstration of remorse, or it should be described as just disappointment on the part of the individual in question, or whether this should be described as deception to the highest goal. How do you want to describe it? Eric Dillon said he would have thrown other people to throw stones at the president's convoy. He apologized. Many apologies. Do you want me to name all? No, I cannot name all right now. His latest apology is that, well, I know how my society is, and yes, I flew, I flew, business class ticket, but this ticket was upgraded in Ghana, Accra, Ghana, and so, and in fact, it's a Z or something. It's cheaper than the original business class. Whatever it is, you decide to be that particular person who will serve as the voice of reckoning, that to reckon with, who will serve as the voice of change. Come clean and tell us where my people are traveled. Now he said, where I put my supporters in a very uncompromising situation that they had to defend the undefendable when I know that I did this thing and I cover it up. And I cover it up. I cover it up because an X, and so. In the West, if people do this kind of thing, if you get involved into serious integrity issue, Ekena Wesley wrote a very rich article in the Front Page Africa newspaper. He said, the man in the center of integrity. A man in the center of integrity. Darius DeLong. If you decide to present yourself as this man who has integrity, in fact, what should be happening in this case now is that people should be begging you to come back to lead. You should be saying, I am resigning because I've lost the credibility. I've lost the respect of my people. I've lost everything. But if you've lost everything, if you profess to be a man that people should look forward to, should look up to in terms of integrity, in terms of speaking on critical issues, in terms of integrity, and if you think you've lost that, which is something that is proven by your continuous apologies to the public, why haven't you resigned your post as senator of Montserrat? I'm not talking about all your apologies now. I'm only asking you, if you really think you are a moral man, a moral character who wants to promote morality in this country, why haven't you resigned? Darius DeLong. Do you think, if only you still want to be seen as a light, do you think your voice, even as loud as it's always, do you think it should still be loud in the ears of people around here? But the good thing is, he's benefiting a lot from the spoil system. The system is so spoiled to an extent that even if you just decide in this country to wake up and say, for me, I'm going to get on the air and abuse people, you get more followers, then you'll be more intelligent, refined, and organized in your utterances and analysis. The system is so spoiled that if you come pretending to be like you are reporting criminal act, but in this report of yours, subconsciously or subtly, you are the real criminal at the back. He want to Senator Dillon justify again the issue of this money in the budget. And that way I disagree with Kev Hassan when he said, well, the budget is a secret to the people. No, except the public or the population, a portion of the population that doesn't read. If you have a reading population, the budget should not be a secret. In fact, that should not be the case. Whether reading population or not, the budget should be explained to the people. Senator Darius Dillon, being a senator, brought out $15,000, received $15,000, and came up pretending like he doesn't know that this money actually exists in the budget, that he himself is aware of. That's why when Kev said he lied, some people say, no, you can't say to another woman he lied. He did lie. Darius Dillon lied. What did he say to us? That the photo he took in the plane, he went to visit his friend. He went to see his friend in the business class. Why did he provide that justification? Isn't that a lie? What is a lie? So the opposite for truth-telling is what? It's lie. So how do you want to define lie? So you see, this country is in a way, that's why I raised issue with Dr. Richardson the other day on Spoon Talk. Many women have accused of having an affair with other men in this town. That lady on Spoon Talk, I've not heard her say anything. By the time Yomble Kanga Lawrence and Darius Dillon were involved into some kind of sexual immorality, alleged sexual immorality, she burst out. The sexism and all of that. And she was smiling as Darius Dillon was romanticizing, was intellectualizing the entirety. She was smiling on the show. That's Liberia. Everyone protests their own criminal. Everyone protests their own immoral person. Yeah? So you say, okay, I don't know about this thing. But you are a lawmaker. You should know that this thing goes in the budget. Why did you come out to the public and pretend that, well, I don't know, well, this and that, and my people are returning it? Amen. What do you want to embarrass your colleagues to at the legislature? Is the money not legal? Wasn't the money legal? Legal money. You still expecting the remaining $15,000. Why didn't you come clean to explain to the people that this money is in a budget? Oh, my people. The very first time you receive the elect, an honest person, someone with integrity, with moral. I don't know how many morally upright people we have in this society. Someone with moral. The time you receive the bank elect, and you're someone who likes to rebrand yourself, who likes branding yourself. What I think Dillon should have done at that time was to basically explain to the people, well, some kind of alert hit my account. Because you are the transparency idol now at the legislature. Oh, my people, some kind of account alert hit my account. So I think I received $15,000. But I just follow up and think I'm told that this money is part of our budgetary support, legislative engagement and thing. But we're spending $30,000. We just received $15,000. So my people, Monserrate people, what can we do with this money? $15,000 has hit our account, the people of Monserrate account. We do with it. Then it will show that, yes, you are a man who really want to present yourself as a light. We're not in a light. And one of the things you're benefiting from also is your ability to admit in the midst of abundant shame and embarrassment, to admit the truth and say, my people are wrong. Allah, something that President Wlah has not done. He keeps lying to the people. The first time he lied, the first lie, one of the lies he told, that, well, the house on 9th Street is owned by his son. That was a lie. Embarrassed a deputy presidential press secretary. His son had to say, no, Papa, I beg you. Don't put me in situation and get here. No. That house is your house. Own it. It's yours. Your house has been turned into bulletproof. That's why I got disappointed in the young part of the CDC. release a press statement, attacking someone who ate good lunch, had a good lunch, someone who bought a car. I'm told that the car even broke down over the weekend, even if it's not just a political, news. I read on the page of Mr. Charles, yes, that the car that Mr. Imara Potter bought for a while broke down somewhere. He even directed someone to go and visit the garage that the car is currently parked in. Is this a car that we're making noise about in this town? Ask the president, Mr. President, why are you putting bulletproof on your house? On our street? Oh, okay, we understand. You don't even feel safe in this country because after election, you told us that you cannot tell us how much money you have in your account. If you do, your family, members of your family could be at risk. Meaning we became murderers, we became terrorists. Immediately we elected you. Aren't these kind of engagement, intellectual engagement that we should be engaging as people? So by the way, I want to find out. I don't know whether the reporters captured that yesterday. Darius didn't return to the country. I did not hear any news of CDC COP protesting. Anyway, folks, I don't want for my listeners to get there with me this morning. Let's have a conversation, folks. Call us in the numbers. 0777 107 0777 221 223 0777 107 0777 221 223 are the numbers you can call us in to participate on the program this morning. If you're there also in the diaspora, you can call us on WhatsApp or you'll be live, or Sky Liberia Messenger. You'll be live on Straight from the Heart. Let's hear from this first person. Good morning.
Good morning, Matthias.
Good morning, sir. Let's hear you.
This is Rafi S. Dukle. I joined you this morning from my District 14 resident.
Go ahead.
Matthias, I want to appreciate this morning for your talking point. So my concern has been with the mayors of Monrovia, Mayor Jason Koji. You see, yesterday the press release from the mayor was so bad and damaging. Even though we stand to commend people when they don't commendable things, and we criticize when they do something that's to be criticized. When the press statement came by the youth wing referring to the two government officials, we commended them because we are the ones that are against those things and they are provoking the people in the sense. But for mayor to come to can say the member of the press should contribute certain amount that we are seeing clearly that the press member of the press have been honest the amount of 2,000 is unfortunate. So
no, anyway, I didn't say that the mayor said 2,000. I'm going to challenge the mayor to, first of all, he should hear the collection. He should go to Kings FM first and collect 2,000 from each journalist there. I'll pay $10,000. That's what I'm saying to him. So call us on the numbers 0777 777 107 0777 221 223 0777 777 107 0777 221 223 are the numbers you can call us on to participate on the program this morning.
Good morning.
Let's hear from this person. Good morning.
Good morning, Matthias.
Good morning, Mr. Harris. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you for your recognition. David E. Harris calling from my resident. Thank you for all of your talking points.
Go ahead.
Matthias, on the issue of the senator, I think the senator lied to the Liberians to purchase an economic class ticket in Monrovia and go to Ghana and upgrade his ticket to a business class. I think he did it deliberately and he lied to us. This is not the first lie. I think Senator DeLong is showing his true DeLong. When he was elected the first time, he had a few months, so you were pretending. But now we are seeing DeLong. He's not a liar anymore. He lied to us. He's a liar, man. My next issue has to do with the major on the so-called cleaning exercise. Matthias, I was around the Broad and around the street intersection yesterday, and I saw a guy. I don't know how to call him G-Man or Spartaco. Under the educational building, they got a lady selling food there. G-Man has a shovel in his hand. G-Man bust the shovel into the woman's food yesterday and damaged the woman's entire food. Yesterday, around the Broad and around the street, around something in the afternoon, Greg and sell spaghetti around on your left. I saw the stingy G-Man fellow. In his car, he had a Jeep. The PSU pickup, the guys got down from inside with long range rifle They ran to the girl who was selling the spaghetti, hair her by her blast, hold her and rushed her and placed her in G-Man car. So, Matthias, the question here is, are they doing a criminal exercise or they are rising peaceful citizens? Matthias, when I try to intervene on the issue on education, the G-Man fellow said, you're going to place me behind bar. And I said, I will speak out. The lady who said the food, she was Liberian. And I think it will be better we talk to her in a polite manner that we don't want you to sell food on here anymore than to bust into the food with shovel. So I thank you, Matthias, the money for the platform.
Okay. Thanks for the conversation as well. Your participation in the program this morning. Let's hear you two quarters on those numbers. In fact, the Kobachop Market project that was launched by former President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, completed by this government. I don't know whether it's a horrid thing that this government is doing to ensure that the people get relocated, but I think it should have been done in a more advanced and proper way than the way it has been done now. People are fighting for sport and thing. What can we do something organized way? Let's hear from this person. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Matthias.
Good morning, sir. Let's hear you.
Oh yeah, this is something calling for Central People.
Let's hear you.
Yeah, thank you for your minutes on point. You see this country now, which you see not too scary. You see, that's the Bible there. They all have sinned and can't shut up the glory of God. Now the Lord, the way he could do, he can now say, I'm sorry. After he insulted the people of Liberia, he said they are dumb and silly. Can you imagine they tell me to say, I'm sorry, that Allah, Papa, they abuse of the cause, dumb and silly. Now they don't want. So I mean that man, person that I can see in our government sector, we all say CDC is not morally upright. The CDC say they are the best. But yet now, I listened to some guy reading yesterday, and some guy is now being dumped in a dumpster as a convict, and yet other people running around supporting him. What's the mockery of democracy? You know the person is already a criminal. Then he's supporting the person. For what now? Oh, Liberia. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much. Talking about insult, for me, in my age and time and understanding of the way people should communicate to me, the worst insult I've ever heard is an insult coming from President Wlah to say he cannot make his asset public because he has his family members to protect. That was an insult to my intelligence. Let's hear from this person. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Let's hear you.
Thank you. This is Wlah Bryant.
Please speak up, sir.
Yes, I like the analysis and I like all the points you made.
Wlah Bryant?
Yes, this is Wlah Bryant.
Mr. Bryant, go ahead, sir.
But I think, and let me say this, I have been saying this, and I feel too hard in this country when I listen to a talk show host and some Liberians saying, if Delon say he's the light, so say he's the light, he say you're going to be the light. So let him stop. So look, come on. It is not about Delon being the light, it's about the senators being the light and the representatives being the light.
So who determines that?
In this country, when all of them were camping, they camping on transparency, they camping on accountability. Let not scapegoat this life in transparency thing with Delon. We have our issue with Delon, but I think it's a mock of when we discussing transparency accountability to say, hey, he said he's a light. If there is no lawmaker in that house that doing their campaign, they're not campaigning on transparency, on accountability. In fact, when they weren't there, they were accusing those that were there that they were making fabulous salary, the money was too much, the budget was this and that. So when they got there, they should have told what happened there too. So that was all of them accountable. I'm not just talking about this Delon ticket business issue. I'm going to come down later in 2 seconds. But I just thought to bring that to remind all of us on that one first. Wait, hello. Before you leave, hello. I'm not leaving now.
Mr. Bryant, okay, quickly. No, you stay around. Okay, well, the thing is very simple, yeah. I think the reason why Liberians expect a lot from DeLong is that I think they were living in normalcy. In that they were already used to the fact that their officials are corrupt. Nobody wanted to tell them the truth. The first man who said the truth from that house died. You know how Tanapole died in this country. Who said the lawmakers were making plenty of money, and the lawmaker tell us he didn't get money, he lied. And think he was a raw lawmaker. He was always willing to expose things from the lower house. DeLong Kim is there for me. I'm going to be the different force. So the entire country probably look up to him now that, well, there's no other person we can look up to in terms of exposing some of the things in that house than Darius DeLong. If you have a question, all of the lawmakers, we already used to the people covering things up. Who knew that lawmakers, senators were making even 14,000 plus in this country? It is DeLong that exposed that to the public, even though it should be a public information. So why do you think people should not question DeLong to live up to what he said he would have lived up to?
Thank you, making my mind. I am not calling on Liberians to keep far from questioning Senator DeLong to remain at that level. What I'm saying is, as we questioning to remain at that level, the little lives that he has put on, I have all to see some things. So you were in an apartment or in a room and a lot of police going around in that room.
Yeah.
And the lights are there and no more thing and put the light on. Somebody just came and just put the light on quick. Like you can now see some police things happening around you now. You're not basing yourself to ask the people that do no police thing. What are they doing no police thing in the room where your concern will be? Who put the light on? So
what the recognize that we should keep on appreciating DeLong, even if he deviates from his previous statement.
No, the point I'm making is we should continuously caution DeLong to remain the light, to remain focused, while we are calling on the other lawmakers to also stop what they are doing. So I'm referencing the one to the 15,000 stuff, and that's why I slightly disagree with you. Look, and leadership is not so proprietary in one the food I was talking.
I didn't get your disagreement.
I come in say my disagreement. That Senator DeLong having received an alert from the bank, so I have kind of comment and say, I received an alert from the bank, my people, what should we do with the money? No, that is not leadership. That is showmanship. Empty showmanship. What a good person will do, or a smart person will do, when you receive the alert, you will make sure that the money is physical. The check is physical, then you now inform your people. And that's exactly what Senator DeLong did. Senator DeLong, after he received the check, he did an announcement. He did first thing on the post. He did a post on Facebook. The next day, he had a press conference where he informed the people. And people got to stop using the words about DeLong saying we'll give money back. Is that what they call giving money back? If I receive the money from the Senate, and from the Senate, from an operation or legislative engagement, and I decide to give the money to Liz or to Ministry of Youth and Health, is that giving back? Is that what it's called giving back?
Thank you, Mr. Brian. Well, we're Brian there. Thank you. We can squeeze in one more person. You're listening to Straight from the Heart on Sky 107.1. Like I said, at 2 o'clock we're going to be having a conversation with two of our Liberian brothers out of the country, diaspora Liberians. Let's hear from this person. Good morning.
Yes. Makalor, good morning.
Good morning, sir. Let's hear you.
Yes, thank you very much for this discussion. I'm having been calling from Hotel regarding.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Makalor, the 28th, our senator graduated that from Wlah.
You got to speak up, sir.
Our senator actually graduated that from Wlah. Like went to the trenches for him, telling people that this would be extraordinary from those other senators. But actually, he with constant apologies to the Liberian people, it is not okay. Our senator got to understand that there are so many people looking up to him. So if he feels that means some of us won't have any opportunity again to go to the trenches to campaign for other people. Matthias, the second issue that you raised concerning CDC youth wing trying to contain the Maria Porter and that of Eugene Nangwe. I think it is just sheer arrogance because they are leaders just wearing the luxurious of clothes. They are not seeing the extravagant life that Jefferson Koji is living. Jefferson Koji who are not who back then was he able?
Okay, my brother. Thank you so much. You have to join the Voice of America. By the way, it is Jefferson Koji that gave the instruction for the press statement to be read. So there's no way they're going to question his lavish lifestyle.
But Mataya,
Thank you so much, my brother. We have to go. That's all the time we have for this segment of the program. Straight from the heart on Sky 107.1. We have to join now the Voice of America for 5 minutes of news.
Or U.S. resident and human rights activist from New York to Iran. The indictment alleges that the plot was part of a wider plan to lure 3 individuals in Canada and a 5th person in the United Kingdom to Iran. Victims were also targeted in the United Arab Emirates, and the identities of the alleged victims have not been released thus far. The COVID-19 curve in the U.S. is rising again after months of decline, with the number of new cases per day doubling over the past 3 weeks alone. And they now saying that the confirmed infections climbed to an average of about 23,600 a day on Monday. That's up from 11,300 on June 23rd, according to Johns Hopkins University data. In all but 2 states, that's Maine and South Dakota, reporting the case numbers have gone up over the past 2 weeks. At the same time, parts of the country are running up against deep vaccine resistance. The death toll climbed to 72 from rioting in South Africa on Tuesday, with many people trampled to death during the looting of stores, as police and the military fired stun grenades and rubber bullets to try to halt the unrest set off by the imprisonment of former President Jacob Zuma. This is VOA News. The death toll from a fire that swept through a hospital coronavirus ward climbed to 92 on Tuesday. Iraq State News Agency reported as anguished relatives buried their loved ones and lashed out at the government over the country's second such disaster in less than 3 months. Health officials said more of the others were injured in the blaze that erupted Monday at the Al Hussein Teaching Hospital in Nasiriyah. The tragedy casts a spotlight on what many have decried as a widespread negligence and mismanagement in Iraq's hospitals after decades of war and sanctions. Australia's largest city will remain in lockdown for at least another 2 weeks due to the continuing spread of COVID-19. Sydney's 5 million people will remain locked down until at least July 30th. That's 2 weeks longer than planned. Now, South Wales says that this will occur soon. Extension came after 97 new infections were reported on Wednesday alone, and within a 24-hour period. That includes 24 who had been infectious in the community. The president of Guatemala has banned most protests for 2 weeks, arguing that they have been spreading the coronavirus. And the President Alejandro Giamate's cabinet approved the decree Tuesday, and it will go into effect this Wednesday. Protesters have demanded the resignation in recent weeks, saying the government mismanaged the coronavirus pandemic and botched efforts to get vaccines. There have also been seen some shipments of Russia's Sputnik vaccine, although Guatemala paid half up front. It is the latest of more than a dozen access Giamatti has issued to temporarily limit constitutional rights. Thousands of demonstrators in Brazil marched in Sao Paulo and Rio de Janeiro Tuesday, demanding that President Jair Bolsonaro resign over corruption charges and what they say is mishandling of the COVID-19 pandemic. Protesters held banners and placards with the words corruption and genocide written on them as they rallied in downtown Sao Paulo, and small clashes broke out between police and some demonstrators looking out to tear gas being fired to disperse the crowd. Via remote, I'm Tommy McNeil, VOA News.
Liberia, wake up, Mama Liberia. Liberians, oh Liberians, oh Liberians, wake up. Liberians, oh Liberians, oh Liberians, wake up. Liberians, oh Liberians, oh Liberians, wake up.
Wake up, oh, wake up and do something. Try to settle things the way we used to be. Maybe it's all we need in our loving country, oh, Mama, Elabi.
Wake up, my people. Can't you hear the song? Can't you see the shining sun? You've been sleeping so long. No time for guns. No time to do wrong. Say the war is gone. My people be strong.
Wake up, oh, wake up and do something. Try to settle things the way we used to be. Maybe it's all we need in our.
That's right. The way we used to be. Unity is exactly what we are all yearning for. And you know, in that unity we're talking about, we should also yearn for good leadership, good representation, trusted people, so that we can be able to work hard in rebuild a great country, Liberia. You're welcome. This is straight from the heart on Sky 107.1. My name is Matthias Labindi. Like I said, this morning we are going to be having a conversation with two young brothers of ours from overseas. Now, for so long we've sat here and think sometimes, every time I hear there's no medical supply, you don't have beds in hospitals and thing, you know, I reached out. I've been having a conversation with some of my friends that have traveled, and some people that I came in touch with, you know, through the internet. So about, well, you're a Liberian, you are there. What do you think about, you know, this whole thing we hear about problems here, health crisis, we don't have beds in our hospitals and our schools. And so is there a way the diaspora Liberians can get involved in ensuring that they assist government in tackling some of the problems we are faced with? Well, some of the guys say, yes, maybe the government is just that the government is not reaching out. Now, for example, Darius Dillon went to America recently, and he met a number of Liberians, you know, diaspora Liberians. He met a number of Liberians overseas. They contributed a lot to whatever donation is going to be making now. All right. So it means our brothers and sisters over there who have worked. Now, it's something I was sharing with somebody, a friend from Gambia. We had a long conversation yesterday. Smart guy. And I said to him that, how about if we think about rebuilding Africa as a continent? For so long, we complain about, well, Africa as a continent, we sit down and then the Westerners come, they take our resources, they mine our gold, our diamonds and all of that. They take all our mineral resources, they bring all the companies here, some of them 419 companies, but they take everything, they go. But we suffice if I say that we have more Africans as well in the West. We have several Africans as well in the West. And their presence in the West, they are dominating the economies of those countries in the West. Most of them dominating the economies. In a sense, the job market, right? They dominate, let's say the job market. Like in Australia now, a friend was sharing with me yesterday that, well, Matthias, there are certain jobs here are meant for students. No other person will do that job. By the time other people like Indians started traveling, you know, to Australia, to that part of Australia, they started taking the jobs of the students. Basically, during the break time, students go to the various restaurants and things. They serve food. They serve our waitresses and waiters and all of that, and so they earn something. So somewhere around 12 years, a student is already working. They're earning something. They're saving money. Before that man graduates from high school, he has a lot of money. These things are happening now. The immigrants. Black immigrants migrate to the West and they work, they earn money. We sit down and complain that the West is coming to take from us. Maybe what we are going to take from the West is little, it's just a minute portion of what the West had already taken from us. How about if we were to transform? Because we are noted for management, we are noted for, you know, caring for one another, except for the leaders that usually come with different mindsets. How about we were to say every African country, let's take Liberia as a case study. If Liberia has up to 60 immigrants or 70 immigrants, 70,000 immigrants, 100 immigrants, you know, can we have Liberians who have traveled to America, Australia, other parts of the world, making sure that they send back to this country at most every Liberian, sending back at least $1. The government setting up this account, an exclusive account that the government will control. Now, somebody commented on the live feed and said, "Mata is a good idea," but the issue of accountability, that's a problem. Maybe diaspora Liberians themselves can have a leadership that will monitor their account. That whatever deposit they make into this particular account should be used for the intended purpose. What do I mean? If, for example, annually, if we were able to raise about 15, 20,000 million, maybe $50 million, or maybe $20 million, $30 or $50 million, if we are able to raise that from diaspora Liberians, and we all can see that money in the account is there, 20 million is there. Diaspora Liberians will sit down and look at a number of things through the government, a number of things that government is confronted with. We know that maybe the 20 million, we should not use it to fund the budget. Let's use it to settle problems, pressing issues. Okay, let's engage government schools, for example. All of the government schools. I attended government school, and I still feel hurt today that even our time, where we sometimes sit down in the classroom, the smell from the bathroom is affecting us in the classroom. Like maybe the distance from the bathroom where I sit right now at Sky is like maybe from here to finance ministry, a little distance, right? But you still get the smell of the bathroom in your classroom. Till today, there are still public schools that are still affected. So if we tap in the potential, can we tap in the potential of diaspora Liberians? That maybe they contribute $1 each person. You know, you're not going to be policed, right? No one is going to police you to do it. It's just about you being willing to give back to your country. We reduce it $1. Maybe some people want to put maybe $50 monthly, $100 monthly. Before we get to know it, we have in the diaspora Liberians account maybe $20 or $30 million. The issue of beds at the JFK would not be an issue that for us to sit down as a nation to even seek support from France. We disrespect ourselves as African countries, and our African leaders contribute to that disrespect shown us by the West a lot, because they beg a lot. They refuse to tap in their own, internal potential, but they go looking for support from other places that, in fact, they are not giving it to them, through some kind of, goodwill. But they give a left hand, they come to take with right hand. So this morning, I'm going to be having a conversation shortly. We're just trying to connect the guys, having a conversation with these brothers of mine, our Liberian brothers. Chancy, by the way, who goes by the name Makalor, he's from New Town. Yeah, Chancy, I'm sure he's making some contribution to New Town youth, and some of the guys who are there right now, hearing that where Chancy Makalor is appearing on Sky. I know many of them are excited to hear this heavyweight champion of Minnesota, who has maintained this championship from 2019 till now. He's still the champion of Minnesota. So it means there are 50 plus individuals that compete for that position every day. Every year, Chancy comes out victorious. This guy, has he been reached to by the Ministry of Youth and Sports, for example? My brother, you are the champion now for Minnesota, meaning you are the chief security for Minnesota. How can we use what you have to benefit Liberia? In fact, in other countries, I'm talking about knowledge-based nation. Liberia is a religious nation. It's not a knowledge country. You see, knowledge country will always be developed more than religious countries. Let's go to Sierra Leone. Yes, Sierra Leone, prior to the war, used to be a religious nation. It's still partly a religious nation, but it's now prioritizing knowledge than religiosity. Liberia is a religious nation. That's why when someone steals, we say, "Yeah, lead man, that's also us." Yeah, that's also us. Okay, we have 14 minutes gun producers. What's going on back there, guys? We have to really do this quick. All right. So then we go to Ghana, for example. Ghana is a knowledge-based country. That's why you have atheists in our country. They come openly and say, "Well, I don't believe in God." I'm not saying people in Liberia should say they should not believe, but knowledge-based nation will always develop the religious nation. I said we are actually religious, or we profess to be religious, but we are corrupt. We are bad. We do all the terrible things. We're not really religious. We're not really believers. We are religious, but we are not believers. If we are believers, we will be very careful about the way we treat one another. All right. Then we look the issue of let's go to Rwanda. Rwanda is a knowledge-based country. It's a knowledge-based country. So Rwanda, let's look at the development there in Rwanda. Liberia is a religious nation. That's the reason why Noka got bankrupt. If it is not a religious nation, it is a nation that builds syndicate. When you set up this syndicate, you eat. When I come, it will be my duty to defend you because I myself am certainly going to do the same. That's why George Weah said, listen, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, your entire family, I'm going to protect. No reason why any leader will want to protect a leader like Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, whose government is on record for rampant corruption. The only reason why any leader would decide to protect such a person because that leader wants to do the same thing, provided if George Weah will be lucky that the next person that's going to come is going to also defend him that way. So this is, instead of us running here, here and there, talking about, the government this, the government that, let's reach out. That's why I said, if it costs me to have a discussion with only diaspora Liberians this whole week, and maybe tomorrow I may even speak with another person from another state, from another country, to talk about their own way that they can come back to give to the country. But why is it that they are feeling somehow they do not want to give? They cannot give now because they don't see a light. They don't see any reality. Guys, it's 17 minutes gone. Can we get one person at least? Let's have conversation with one person in the meantime while we're getting the other one on. So that person will say, well, I cannot do this. I cannot do this because the country over there is corrupt. But government, don't run it because we don't trust you. Liberian don't trust government. Well, we look up to the government because government is the one that should lead the nation. Set up an account today. Challenge the government of Liberia. This is a free recommendation. Set up this account today and say, reach out to diaspora Liberians. Dr. Clarice Kula is heading this team of people who are running this returning, Liberian returnees and all of that. So there are many people who are affluent in the world, very influential, right? Economically, financially potent. The last time I checked, I read something on Oprah News that Oprah Winfrey, that billionaire woman, that her lineage is traced to the Pele tribe in Liberia. Has the government of Liberia reached out to that lady? Has there been any foreign delegation to ask her whether she would feel pleased to consider Liberia, even though she has stayed in America for a very long time? She will feel pleased to consider Liberia as a home and, if possible, naturalize and give back to the country. But the thing is, we focus so much on the small cash before us, and because we want to steal that quickly and run back home and live big boy life and thing, so we don't focus on the future. This thing I'm talking about, there are hundreds and thousands of Liberians. Has the government of Liberia done any statement appreciating this young man, this Liberian brother of ours, who dukes a university in China, who emerged as the valedictorian? You need to listen to Dr. Puni speaking Chinese fluently, like he's speaking his mother tongue. The government of Liberia, insensely, has not done any statement. This is what we should look at. We should look out for. Motivate Liberians. Chancy won this championship from 2019. The Ministry of Youth and Sport has not recognized this brother. We talk about politics here every day. What do we waste our time talking about? If somebody says a light, who cares if that is a light or not? If it's a light, it's light for himself. Because this country, to say someone will come here to be that person is morally upright, it's going to be hard. Let's focus on tapping everybody's ability. Darrell Dillon likes, he should fly VIP, he should charter a private jet. He's not going to be the first person. The president, immediately he got office, the first thing he thought about was to boost his morale. That's why his friend from Burkina Faso brought him a private jet. When Liberians talk about it, they didn't just to boost the president morale. Is that what we elected you for? To boost your morale? You said you were what, 84 million? You didn't have morale when you had 84 million on your account? You became president to boost your morale and get private jet? No, man. Anyway, we have on the line Saah Josiah. Saah Josiah is joining us from Western Australia. And Samuel is a student of logistics and management. Samuel knows a lot about a number of people who travel there a lot. Samuel, good morning. It's a pleasure, my brother, joining me all the way there from Australia. I don't know the time is, but I'm told I'm informed that you just wake up. You woke up very early this morning to have a conversation with us. Good morning, Samuel.
Good morning. Good morning. How you doing? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we're getting you very well.
Okay. Yeah, it's about 4:20 here in the afternoon.
Okay. All right.
Actually,
All right.
4:20 p.m. Yeah.
All right. Thank you,
We
Samuel.
somehow kind of like 8 hours away from you guys, and we kind of like opposite almost to America. Depends on the state.
All right. Unfortunately, we're yet to get Chancy on the line, but it's really, really good that you're back. You're on the line. We're already 21 minutes gone. 21 minutes gone. Let me begin quickly. Tell us a bit about your stay in Australia. How did you get there in less than a minute or so? Let's begin with that.
I won't let it go too deep or too personal, but however, we bless God for the opportunity that we are here. And it's a blessing, like I always tell people, it's a privilege. We're not better than others. There were people that tried on so many occasions. There were people that could have been well deserving in this position, but God chose us. So we just bless God that we are blessed to be here. And it's not something to brag about, it's just something to be grateful for. Yeah.
Okay. So you're studying logistics and management there in Australia.
Yeah. I live in Australia and I work permanently in currently I'm studying logistics and management. But for work I do a couple of stuff. As a store person, where I work at a DC, I do a lot of stuff. I'm a senior first aider. I do workplace coaching. I do I do a lot of stuff around that. Even if I just call them, unless people that live in the West will really understand. But people that back there might not really understand because we don't have these set of titles in Liberia. But it's a good place. Australia is a beautiful place. It's a loving place. I haven't been to America yet, but I can rest assured you there have been a couple of Americans that have come over here and they love it and they wish they could have stayed. So that gave me a clear picture that Australia is a beautiful place that everyone wants to live in. Like you just heard on the news, at the moment we are struggling with the COVID-19. And I want to use this opportunity to encourage the Liberian. Please try to wear your mask. Please try to do everything you can humanly possible to prevent yourself from being in a very close contact with people. COVID is not joking. You people, I don't want to say you people are lucky, but at least you people have some privilege that we don't have. Freedom of movement. For us here in Australia, a few weeks ago, it was just one case in WA and the premier locked down the state. Just one case. I'm not saying cases. One case, we went on lockdown. And when we had 2 other cases, we went on total lockdown for up to 3 weeks. And after that, we had to wear masks for 1 week before we could come out. But then they have already done their contact tracing. They have already checked everyone and they make sure that everything is okay. And then they allow us out. So sometimes we kind of think how really people are looking at this thing in Liberia, especially on the point of leadership. How really are they taking this virus serious? Because Liberia was in the best position to control this virus because when the virus started in China and other parts of the world, it wasn't in Africa. If our government would have put in strict measure at that time, trust me, they would have controlled this disease retro-RIA. I'll give you an example. The cruise ship that normally go to Italy and stuff came with some passengers from Italy around the world, and there were a few people that had the virus on the cruise ship. And the prime minister asked that they stay on sea, receive treatment when everyone recovers before they come on shore. And they kept that ship on sea, fed them, did everything they could. And those 75 people stayed there, they took treatment and everything before they go allow them to come on land. Now, if that was Liberia, trust me, they would have told the people, oh, you guys just go home, we'll go and follow you guys up later. But no, they did not do that. They took their treatment on the ship. They were okay. They stayed there after they were declared negative. They stayed there for another 21 days quarantine period. After that, before they could allow the citizens to get off the ship, and the people that were not citizens, they could not allow them to get off the ship, and they went back to their various countries. So these are ways leadership steps into play and make decisions for the citizens. But it's unfortunate that the government is talking about controlling coronavirus, and the government go and dislodge red light market, and you got people everywhere fighting for a spot. Everyone is everywhere. Everyone is doing whatever it feels like. And the Liberian people themselves need to look at this and take it serious. This is not about leadership. This is about their own health and their own safety. I think the best thing they want to do is to make sure that they look after themselves first. Like I always tell people, among the billion people in the world, I love myself the best. If I can love myself, I can look after myself, Matthias. If I see you falling tomorrow, I will have the ability to look after you. So just to conclude on that, thanks to everyone making contribution towards this COVID pandemic in Liberia. And we want to encourage those that will still be giving more. Please try to do so. Don't do it because of anyone. Do it because you have the ability to do it. Okay. But we want to encourage our people as well. You people need to show to the world that you are serious to fight this virus. And you are now waiting for Mr. X or Mr. Y or the president to take his vaccine before you know that this is serious. Please, we need this thing to go away quicker. Your safety matters to us a lot. So that's why I just want to say on the COVID stuff, my brother.
We're still trying to get your colleague on the other side there from Minnesota. But while not since we have you, let's move on to quickly asking the general question or our topic this morning: the potential of every Liberian, both home and abroad, in the development of the country Liberia. What do you think is that potential that you think lies in diaspora Liberians, given where you are now in Australia, a line of many opportunities as well? What do you think we can do as a country, or the government can do to ensure that someone, Saah Josiah, that is there in the USA, can through his contribution making impact in the development of Liberia?
You know, Matthias, I will first start with we the citizens, and then I will come to the government. You see, we Liberian people, it is about time that we start to be honest. It is about time that we appreciate efforts. It's about time that we make use of little resources given to us. It's about time that we do not abuse opportunity. I think I sent you the photos of the government school that I built 80 computers for in the VOA area there. I sent you the photos. And I only asked the parents for 1,000 LD per semester for those in senior high and $750 LD per semester for those in junior high. How much was it costing me to run that school? I was spending $5,500 every week on field, LD. And I was spending approximately $20,000 every month to pay the instructors, with the exception of stationaries or other stuff I had to buy. I put projector, 80 computers. They complain on few computers. I sent some computers. They complain because I had a 3 kVA. I bought a 5 kVA diesel machine. I sent it there. And I was even talking to the community chief, which did not really apply any effort. Now, according to the way I did my calculation, whatever proceed I was going to be earned from that school was going to be about 70% or 65 or 60% to run that school. So I was not doing it for profit making. I was doing it to contribute to society. But what the people did, they spilled that back in my face. They did not encourage me. It came a time they could not even, the initial payment they made was, I think, $200,000. And I took $120,000 off that same money, put it back into renovating the place. There was no window bar. There was no ceiling. Half of the zinc was gone. The building was bad off. I did all of that. I put ceiling, changed the zinc that needed to be changed, put window bar around the whole place. I created office space, security area for the security to sleep. I created generator room. I put fresh toilet in the place. If anyone think I'm lying, they can go to the VOA government school there, and they will find out if I'm lying or I'm saying the truth. But our people did not take it serious. I had no other choice. I took the computers out. I took the chairs, the tables out.
You shut down the school?
I left every other renovation I did. I left it on the building. Reason I left it there, I want that to serve as a witness for me tomorrow. So that tomorrow when I'm telling someone when they go, they will see these things and know that one of our brothers tried to do something, but our people did not encourage him. So our people need to do more to encourage us when we're doing these little efforts to make sure that at least another person will see those things being done and feel encouraged to go back and do it.
And
Josiah, I asked for the head of the.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for that point. Just this morning, I also spoke about that. I know a number of people who get remittances from their family members and loved ones overseas a lot. And Yeah, some of them, some are doing well with their remittances. Some are, recklessly using what they get because they think that their relatives or friends are overseas, so therefore they get everything at every time. But you guys who are there, who usually wish back to your friends here, you do wonderful, right? But before we address the main topic, I know we have limited time, but Chancy is on. Chancy, this guy has done very well for Liberia. He shouldn't have gone through what he went through. Take all of the pains, the training, the waking up at night and going through the process of training, gymming, and also to an extent that he became champion for the first time in 2019. Since 2019, he has maintained his championship as heavyweight champ of Minnesota and is considered as Mr. Minnesota. Every year they went for that competition, Chancy will win the people. Chancy, he goes by the name Mr. Chancy Wlah Gibson Makalor. I'm told Chancy is from Nuclear Town. It's a pleasure, brother. Thanks for joining us on the program this morning. Welcome to Straight from the Heart.
Well, thank you. Good morning to the people of the Republic of Liberia. That is the most hardest country that I have in the world. The matter of fact, while some of us are in the diaspora, but we still remember the red, white, and blue. And we will continue to fly the single lone side of Liberia.
And that's a great one, Chancy. That's what you've done. You've flown the flag and you continue to fly there in Minnesota. We're so proud of you, Chancy. Just tell me a little bit about you. In just less than a minute, we have just one topic. I know we can spend just 10 minutes on it, exhaust it. You guys going to come back some other time to talk more, maybe and how diaspora Liberians can contribute to the growth and development of this country. But just tell me a little bit about you. Who is Chancy Wlah Gibson Makalor?
Chancy Wlah Gibson Makalor. He's a patriotic son of the Republic of Liberia who was born in Moserado County. And his father hailed from Sino County and his mother for Bon County, that is Bombing. She's a good at by that. And my father is a crewman. I was raised within Sino County. I went to school there. I attended a few schools, the demonstration school where I graduated. Because in Liberia, we have 3 potential demonstration school in Liberia. That's from the 3 original county, Moserado, Grand Bass, and out of Sino. So I graduated from high school and later on enrolled at the Elizabeth Mitchell Memorial Institute in downtown, that is within Greenville City on Johnson Street. And later on, after a couple of times, the war we flee to Ezard, and we came back and later on graduated from the Assembly of God Mission High School within Clarendon called Jindo Union Institution. And later on, John Day, after Manasseh Leaf came in, we have our first elected female president in Africa. When I graduated from high school, I also joined the Armed Forces of the Republic of Liberia, where I also served within that area. After a few years, God bless all, we were able to come to the United States of America by the grace of God. And when we came, by the grace of God, we still there because we established our weightlifting back home in Niku time.
Okay.
But when we came, we to carry all the momentum. And by the grace of God, 2019, we are served as the first Black ever in the history of Minnesota. Since Minnesota were established to have won the heavyweight championship. And within 2000, the COVID-19 came about, so we did not host it. Within this year also, we also been holding until by this month or next month. Hopefully, as we heard from the governor, Governor Tim Howard. So we'll also be going for it, but I'm still maintaining since 2019 to present as Mr. Minnesota.
Okay, quickly, Chancy. That's a good one. Thank you so much. What I want to ask you quickly, you're going to give your view on the demolition exercise of the red lad market. But first, I want to know, has the government of Liberia, maybe it was just based on my analysis, has the government of Liberia through the Ministry of Youth and Sports reached out to you as a Liberian who has brought pride country in Minnesota State?
The Ministry of Youth and Sport, but unfortunately, the guys, when you're not into politics and more especially when you're not supporting certain political parties, they don't recognize you. So at the end of the day,
but sorry, Chancy, it's not about politics. Your thing, I think it's athletic. It falls under that, right? So the Youth and Sports Ministry should be able to look at that and say, well, Chancy, well, you've done something. So whether you're a politician or not, I am a journalist, and in my country. You are, a young man who is proud of this country. I am highlighting you now so that people can know that there's a guy here called Chancy who has done something great for this great country, Liberia. Don't you think it's necessary for the Youth and Sports Ministry to reach out to you, showcasing you to this country, and telling the people that this guy's a Liberian, this is what he has done elsewhere? Why do you think it should only be based on politics?
That's not the thing, Machia, that been holding about. Actually, when we won the title, I was sending some of my photo. We won the title that was not the American flag. The 50 star was at the back of, but you see the single lone star behind us. I think the flag wherever I go, even when we have the 50 states where I represented Minnesota, in Arizona, in Pennsylvania, where we went there, we still maintain. We carry the lone star. We did not carry the United States. We did not carry Minnesota quarter. But we carry the red, white, and blue, because we believe that we hail from the one slumber country. We hail from the first independent country of Africa. We hail from the country that gave birth to Africa. And we were proud. We did not say that we are American. There are some of our brothers and sisters who hail from that part of Africa. But when they came here, whenever they know that they have one certain prestige, they identify themselves within that particular area. But for us, we say no. We still hail from Nigutan. We still hail from Liberia, and we will continue. The matter of fact, what politics or other thing is all about Liberia.
Okay, quickly, Chancy. Let me go back to Samuel. Samuel, let's look at this one. What potential do you guys hold in helping to rebuild this great country, Liberia? I know this is a summary interaction today. Next time you guys come, we may just have to start the conversation from 7:30 straight to 9 o'clock. We'll have time to talk about a number of things. Samuel, you are there in Australia. Are there things there?
Let me just jump into it.
Yeah, please get into it quick.
We just want to encourage the government, and I want to quote what President Wlah said. And there's a saying that every man your word is your bond. That's why many people come close to you. That is where people will trust or break me. Have trust in you or break the trust in you. Now, you said Liberia will not be spectator in their economy. One of the reasons why our brothers and sisters in the country keep struggling when it comes to doing something in our country is because the government is not tapping into the diaspora in Liberia. At the moment, you like it or not, the middle income earner, the middle class Liberian are in the Western world, regardless of which country you're in. We do not have everything, but we have a little that we can contribute, that it will spread out to the next person and it will benefit the next person. Why am I saying this? Take, for example, when President Wlah got through with a new market, Omega market. Now, if the government would have put in place a plan, or if they would have asked people for suggestion, there's a saying that if you fail to plan, if you fail to plan, your plan will fail. Now, if the government would have come up with a plan that we want this market to be here, but we do not have the money to develop the rest of this area, these are my recommendations. It is not still late yet. Number one, they could have created zones in the area. This is dry goods zone, this is fresh goods, and you name the rest. Now, give everyone ID number, and the government should decide, we want bigger stores here, we want shop here, we want this here. And when you finish doing all of these allocation, the next thing you're going to do, give all the business people numbers, and then call them to a conference. This is what we need here. Can you guys afford to do this? Yes or no? If they tell you no, come back and then put in place a system and then ask the diaspora in Liberia, Matthias, for heaven's sake, if the government will ask, Liberia in the diaspora, you've been trying to contribute to society. We have done this part as a government. We got 10 or 5 acres. We need stores, we need shop. The government cannot do it all. But the government is willing to give you 10 square meter, 1 square meter, or 3 square meter for a lease for 15 or 20 years. Take, for example, the government decide I will give you 10 square meters and you pay $10 per month. Now, that's a reasonable amount. If I build a shop there, the government can tell me how much they think I need to charge the person that's going to rent that place. It is going to be documented, it's going to be written in policy, and agreements. If that is put into place, what the government is going to do, the government is going to benefit from two phases. Number one, the government is going to benefit from me that is building the store. Number two, the government is going to benefit from the marketer that's going to rent that store from me, because they're going to do other contribution there. Now, forget about the diaspora in Liberia. Even the business people in that place themselves can borrow money from Access Bank. That's another thing the government can do as well. Allocate funds. Do not come to me. This money is in the bank. Go and apply for the loan. This ID number that was given to you, you are from red light, and they are going to give you this X amount of money. Everyone is going to be entitled to $2,000 regardless of how much you want to borrow. If you want to borrow above $2,000, you have to find a way to get the rest. But the government is going to borrow you $2,000. Matthias, if the government would have come up with that plan, I tell you, last year or the beginning of this year, for heaven's sake, our people that were running in those slums, in that swamp, it is so painful, it is so pitiful to see what's happening in Liberia now, happening in this 21st century.
I tell you,
I guarantee you by now, you would have seen structures standing up in that place, and the government was not going to contribute a dime.
Okay,
that's one thing the government could have tapped into for that real market.
Thank you, Samuel. That's Samuel's Saah Josiah there. He's in Western Australia. You listen to his recommendation. Now, what I'm doing for the government this morning, or I don't know whether some of you people will take cue from it, is that there are a group of people sitting somewhere around the world. They're saying, listen, we have what it takes to help our country. We don't have everything, but what we have. This is simply saying to the Westerners that our sons and daughters will go to the West and work. They're going to bring their resources back to Africa and rebuild Africa. The same way you come here and bring your fake companies, you take our resources and carry it to the West, our sons will also go there and work. They earn money and come back. But until governments in Africa can tap into the potentials of their sons and daughters that are in the West working, it's not going to work. Chancy, do you share the view with Mr. Josiah that you diaspora Liberians hold a great potential in helping to rebuild this country? For example, you are in Minnesota, you are Mr. Minnesota. The other day we were having a conversation. I said you are the chief security of Minnesota. You were laughing about it. Now today you are on the radio. What can you say about where you sit and opportunities that are there that the government can tap into to benefit the country?
Thank you, Sarah. I support Mr. Samuel, our brothers, 100%. There's a lot of opportunity here for our government to tap into the citizens of the Republic of Liberia. But the thing is that, like he said, government, the question that, let me discuss America a little bit. You will find in America, everybody live on credit card. Everybody, not a single person in America does not live on credit. Because the first thing you have to build your credit. So the banks are here, the private banks are here, and what government do? Government put money within the banks. So citizen goes into the bank, have a credit. Like there are other people you find sometimes using a 2021 car or the buy the horse. Trust me, it's not immediately that person just take the money and just go and buy. But what they do to go to the bank finance it. And that person paid to the bank. The government has certain percentage within that. So the government of the Republic of Liberia can do the same. Then the Omega market. The Omega market been established by the past government and also completed by this government. That's excellent. Because government is continuity, which we love that. And I support President Wlah when it comes to taking our people from red light market and to carrying them to Omega market. That's a good thing because that area been a very jam traffic. People been dying there sometimes. You find cars will lose control and just go into the people. That was an excellent thing. But I would say that it is the perfect time now. No. You sending the people there. Well, tensions of the markets. So what you do, you connect with diaspora Liberians. Hey, we have Central West Side. What do you want to do? We want to extend the Omega market. Can you contribute? We diaspora Liberians can help in the process. Build some stores and shops around there. Government give it to the citizen. And what the citizens do, they build to a warfare per month. They support and boost the economics of the Republic of Liberia. Then I'm going to say is Mataya or Chancy or Samuel or this, but it's, the morale is going to the government.
Yeah, the country as a whole.
Liberian government can do that. Our leaders. We should not limit it this to the proper agenda government.
Okay, now, Chancellor, let me ask you this question quickly. You are Mr. Minnesota now. You've maintained this particular position for championship for about 3 years now, 3 or 4 years now, right? Okay, so what does Liberia stand to benefit from your championship? Should it gain interest in reaching out to you?
100%. Like I told the channel to the government, but especially the youth sports. But then they cannot reach with me. What I would do, you can get at the Nickel Town. There's a gym they call Global Gym, and you're going to know
Global Gym.
People, yeah, Global Gym within Nickel Town in one part behind former representative Edward Ford building there. Yeah, you have the cottage there behind it. You will get to know there are people who go there. We contribute massively to the gym. All right, people go there and train, even though they pay a little something, but at least we explain the positive of weightlifting. Not just to just go there and just make your body beat, not just to just go there, but it's possible a help in the healthcare sector of Liberian. Sometimes people, when you do those things, when I established the weightlifting in 2008, when I was in the army. And I was very slim, and other people used to laugh at me and say, look at CCA of them there. But yeah, that was my passion.
Today you are a champion.
Because I wonder. Okay, I knew that one deal. And when I established, I did not begin my weightlifting within the United States of America. No.
Okay.
It was back home.
Chancellor, lastly, how does it make you feel that you became a champion? Let's say that maybe your parent did not send you to school. Let's take Liberia in the case of parents now. They didn't send you to school. You went, you did everything. On the day of your graduation, they did not even show up to show you to say congratulations to you. How did you feel when you realized that the government was not even reaching out to you till now? He has not reached out to you to even appreciate you. I just give an example of another brother in China who has Dukes, a university there. He's a valedictorian. Dr. Pony spoke Chinese fluently in his valedictorian speech. He spoke Chinese. Did you feel bad? Or are you still okay? Even though an offer had been presented to you, mind you now, the governor of Minnesota requested that you naturalize yourself as a citizen of the country. You are still adamant, despite abundant opportunity for you to deny this country and live your life and even take care of your family.
And I felt bad. That's the first thing that the government of Republic of Liberia does not reach with me. I felt bad, but still yet. That's a series our people said that it doesn't matter how your mother looked, whether she was a witchcraft or I'm sorry, she was a hooker or just used the rest of the other negative word, she still remain as your mother. Whether she crazy, you can even hide your nationality from her. Somebody will still say, hey, that lady who passing, that crazy woman, that Mataya from Sky FM, that his mother going there.
Yeah.
So there is no other way I can deny the nationality of Liberia because I love Liberia. So I feel bad, but still,
you're still Liberian.
I still want to take this to Liberia.
Okay. Thank you so much, Chancy. Samuel, you're in logistics and management. Obviously, you're a businessman. I just want to say that. Yeah, Samuel's a businessman. He's invested into business here in Liberia, and he got disappointed. He talked about what he, invested. Something now he's saying now, instead of us passing it through individuals, how about the government can say, we need you people, all of you diaspora Liberians. Imagine Darius DeLong had to leave this country. He traveled to the States, solicit support from Liberians there. They are diaspora Liberians. I'm told that a senator leaves from Senator Saah Josiah, for example, goes to Australia, get medical support from Liberians there who get these things and keep them in warehouses, and they give them to him. He brings them back to the country through his own, he present them as his own donation. What about the country is to put together? Mr. Josiah, would you mind painting for us a picture of abundant opportunities that the government, instead of individuals going to solicit, that the government can tap into there in Australia where you are?
Matthias, I just want to throw this quick and then come back to that. You know, one thing the government need to understand and the Liberian people need to understand, the reason why Liberia is underdeveloped and Liberians keep being beggars and keep being zogos is because the government is not promoting Liberians. The more Lebanese stores you get in Liberia, the more money go to Lebanon. The more Indian stores you get in Liberia, the more money go to Indians. The more Liberian stores you get in Liberia, the more the money stay in Liberia. Now we have the ability. It is about time the government tap into that. I come back to the medical stuff. You know, I send you the photos. Like I tell people, we don't do it to brag. We do it to tell people and we show it to people. Those stuff, the biggest children's hospital here in Perth. Anyone that live in Western Australia, you ask them. That hospital, if I would compare it to JFK, it would be maybe bigger. Hospital that is built for more than 4.5 or 5 million people, because this is the biggest state in Australia. Now, 90% of the items in the hospitals, in that hospital, because it's 2 buildings, in those hospitals, were given to the Liberian community. Those things could have filled over 10 or 12 40-foot containers. I got a friend of mine that works in Phoebe now. I'm not going to call his name for some personal reason. Ask him, he gave me the chief, I think the chief of logistics or operation for Ministry of Health. I called that guy Matthias, he never pick up my call. Never. I tried to get in contact with Minister Wilhelmina Jada's son. As I learned he was working in Redemption Hospital. I did everything I could humanly possible. I could not get to him. And then I created a GoFundMe where we generated a little enough. How much we needed to ship all those things? We needed around $75,000 to $1,000. Now, where we had the biggest stumbling block, the company that I work for, we have few Liberians that work there. We went and met the manager and we spoke to them. They volunteered to ship few of those containers for us because they are the highest employer in this country. They agreed to a few of those containers for us for free. And I said we pay anything free of charge. They were willing to ship few of them. Now, all those people needed from us was a documentation from the Ministry of Health or the government of Liberia stating that these items will go to Liberia and they will be cleared free and they will be given to the hospital and there will be proof that they were given. Because in Australia, you don't joke when it comes to credibility. You don't joke with them on that. We try, we press all the buttons, we cool. I'm not trying to pick up ADD. At that time, I called DeLong, he did not pick up. So I never know who to turn to. Recently, I heard in the community, Saah Josiah is taking few other stuff to carry them to Liberia. But this is my advice to Liberia. And just to add this, Matthias, if you listen to the other clip that I sent you, listen to the video, you will hear the guy saying that if you guys can get these things to Liberia and we see better things coming out of it, there's more to come behind this. I tell you, Matthias, the people, I spoke to one of the guys that were part of the committee that get these things. The guy told us that if even we know how to go about doing things rightly, there are 8 ambulances parking that could be given to us if we know what to do. Most of the things you see there are in box, they are brand new. I'm not a medical person, but you can see them. Like I told you, those photos I sent you is just maybe 10 or 5% of the items that were given to us. We did not even have the storage to even store everything. I'm telling you, imagine hospital at JFK, they gave you 90% of the equipment. Just imagine that in your mind. Imagine that. Now, we did not benefit from those things the way we should have. But this is my challenge out there to the government. It is about time. In Israel, they call it the Jewish Fund, where the Israeli government got an account that is not managed by the government. It is managed by the Israelis outside of the country. They contribute to the country, and the country use this money for the benefit of the citizen. It has been long since when our government have talked about these things, they don't do them. There is credibility issue, but the government can come up with a team of credible people in that country that Liberia in the Western world can trust and form a committee. that will work along with Liberia outside of Liberia that can create an account that, all right, every Liberian donate $1 and every Liberian have a say that we can be able to make this contribution towards some of these health crises. Take, for example, we pay that $1 a day. Like some of our brothers can have these serious issues that need to go out of the country for surgery, brain surgery, you name the rest. These funds can be used to help. But reason why you see we Liberians are feeling weak, because our government lacks credibility and they are not helping the situation. Now, another thing the government can do, like you just said an example with Senator Dillon, the Ministry of Health or the government can form a committee under one of the agencies to run after these things. Create a website. If you in any country and the government gave you items that you know will be helpful to Liberia, they get these things. Like for example, Saah Josiah, they go back, they make it out of campaign materials. Now, what Senator Dillon was giving now in America, he's not going to tell you it was given to me to kind of give it to you, even if he says that. But
he still takes the glory.
He's going to be at the front of it. There could have been more.
Yeah.
There could have been more.
Agreed.
If the government would have had a committee or ministry set up, if you get anything, contact us. We will be able to make sure we contact the government, the country you're in, to be able to get these things. And trust me, my brother, I don't know about America. And the other time I listened to Octavius Gilmer, they had some stuff for the fire service, some truck and some PPEs that could have helped. I'm not sure if those things were shipped.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
All right.
There are some non-food for profit organizations here that can even get some food and some other donations that can help. So the government need to see reason to be able to create these things, not just in our Liberia where you can get stock. There has to be a website. These people don't believe in verbal communication. They believe in written communication. There has to be a website where they can check, where they can email you, where you can reply, where you can communicate with them. When that is set up, my brother, trust me, the government and the country will benefit a lot more than what we are benefiting now from few politicians.
Thank you so much, Josiah. Gentlemen, we have to go. Like I said, we don't have the luxury of time today. You guys came on a bit late. It's our fault. We have serious, connection issue here. Even our viewers are having issue with that. Yes, I'm going to share the link with you guys. You can watch it later. But this is an introduction. I hope government can take cue from these kind of patriotic statements coming from you Liberians over there in the diaspora. These are just two. How about the number of people that are sitting there? So, Chancy, you're within 45 seconds. Would you just wrap up quickly from your end?
Okay, Matthias, thank you for the great opportunity. Let me say thank you to Scott FN for giving us this great opportunity to provide some information about ourselves. We diaspora Liberian. We want to say we are here and we are 100% willing to work with the government, to work with Liberians whenever they connect us. Trust me, today is changing. Tomorrow it could be another person. Who knows? But the thing is that we still have potential within Liberia and outside of Liberia. God bless Liberia, and we see Liberia as one of the best countries in Tashakam.
Okay, that's Chancy. He goes by the name Chancy. We are Gibson Makalor. He's a son of Liberia. He's a champion. They were heavyweight in Minnesota. He's Mr. Minnesota from 2019. He's been maintaining that. And Simon is also in what do I call it, in Australia. Simon, would you mind, please, in 30 seconds, wrap up quickly?
Yeah, we want to say thanks to the Sky Communication family and all those behind the scene that make this a success. And we want to encourage other stations to follow suit. We know others are doing it, but it shouldn't be on a partisan base. It should be nationalistic thing. And we pray that Matthias, you as well, continue doing this, not just the brother that you just had on and myself, but rather extend your invitation out there. There are other doctors, there are other people with other professions that could come in with some other advices, with some other contribution. I guess that the more we speak out, the more the minds of our people will open and the more the government will see reason to engage we that are in the diaspora and how they can tap into the opportunities that are out here. There are a lot of opportunity. Like I said, the middle income earners are in the Western world and the government can make use of it. Ghana and Nigeria are benefiting, Liberia can benefit. I just want to send a big...
Okay, he got muted. Thank you so much.
listen to me. I was born and raised in Lokintown before coming over here, going to Guinea.
All right.
So I want to send a big shout.
All right. Thank you so much, my brother. Thank you so much.
And we continue doing this for Mama Liberia.
Thank you. He's Saah Josiah. Saah Josiah is there in Australia, Western Australia, by the way. And the other fellow you also heard is he goes by the name Chancy, Wlah, Gibson, Makalor. He's a heavyweight champ. He's there in Minnesota. The two brothers are saying, well, guys, Liberia, we can give a lot to this country if the government reaches out to diaspora Liberians. My name is Matthias Labinde. Thanking all of you for joining us this morning on the program. We take into consideration all of your concerns about the disruption in our internet. I know many of you want to log on, but it became really difficult. Have yourself a wonderful time.
The explosion was not yet clear. The two countries are close allies. Secunda Kamani is in Islamabad.
China is involved in infrastructure projects across the country worth billions of dollars, and there have been attacks on Chinese interests before, but significantly, they've generally been in the southwest of the country, which is home to a